Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
The Moja Club makes awesome funky socks that you can buy individually. You can get a subscription, and by you, I mean you and the other guy. Sign up for 6 months or a year and get a pair delivered to your house every month. Get a pair, keep a pair. They'll even throw in one extra month free. And Cyrus says listeners get a full 33% discount. Just go to their website, themojaclub.in, and use the code Cyrus Says. जी हाँ, पेश करते हैं Bollywood Scene Stealers. That's right. Even we have to put some Bollywood in our shows. Indu Mirani talks to people who should get more credit in the scenes. People who should have been given the bhav but weren't given the bhav. She talks to them. And by people, I mean, background dancers, singers, their parents, their aunts, their uncles, cousins, security guards, dressing room attendants, people who clean up after the show is over, someone who's bought the land even though there's no film on it. Check out new episodes on our IVM podcast apps. Happy listening, mother and fathers. All right, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
On Cyrus Says, we meet Harsh Sonawala, a man who changed his name from gold to travel. That's right. He used to sell gold, but now he travels in gold. Harsh Sonawala.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Here on Cyrus Says, the monsoon is here, my favorite time of the entire year, my favorite season, because the world spit hits you every single day with all the chemicals in the world, and I just love it. I never use umbrellas, but I have a little point for people with umbrellas. Please understand there's a thing called average height. Some people have average height, some people have high heights, and some people have low heights. So when you move around with your umbrella, you can hit people of different heights. So always look around while using an umbrella. This is my gift to the people of India who are suffering in the monsoons, but who have the money to have an umbrella. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, global world, that's what we live in right now. You can go anywhere in the world and hopefully not become a terrorist, because there's certain places where they sort of indoctrinate you very quickly. But there's also lovely places in the world where there's not so much bad politics. And there's a man called Harsh Sonawala who's walked into our studio for some reason. And his name itself says Sonawala, which roughly translates into man of gold. And this man with lots of gold has decided to give the gift of traveling to people across India and beyond. Harsh, welcome to the show, and I'm going to start by asking you, what's the company called?
The company is called India Someday.
India Someday. You sound like the Congress. Okay.
So basically we called it India Someday because when we were starting the company off, all my friends kept saying, we would love to come to India someday. And we would love to visit India someday. So
your friends were prisoners in Australia or something? Where were all these people?
No, they were my friends from business school, or my friends from friends from school in the United States or the UK or wherever. And obviously
so
Indians
over the
aren't
years, in college and stuff, everybody wanted to come to India. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Everyone was like, it's always an aspirational place to go to, probably.
Or they're just saying it to make you feel better. Because
all that, yeah.
It's very dirty and dusty.
All that, yeah. But no, so people actually then just started approaching me and my business partner saying, why don't you help us plan a trip to India? So we were like, okay, why not? And I guess that's how it slowly started rolling into...
So let's quickly set this up, because as usual, I have done a terrible job in the beginning. We've just mentioned that your name means gold, but his name is Harsh Sonawala, and it's called India Someday. It's basically a travel website. Is it a travel...
it's more of a travel consultancy. Where we...
So you're half travel agent, half website sort of thing.
Correct.
And educator, travel educator, I suppose that should be the word.
What we like calling ourselves is in between a Lonely Planet guidebook and a travel agency.
Yeah. By the way, now that you segued into Lonely Planet, what happened to Lonely Planet? My generation growing up, 80s and 90s, it's all about Lonely Planet. Out in South Mumbai, where we both reside, you'll see these guys outside places like Leopold holding the books.
Correct.
But it seems to have sort of disappeared now.
It's slowly dying. There's just so much information on the internet. What are you going to do with the Lonely Planet book?
Ain't so lonely the planet now. How sad. What a big culture that was.
It is. Their website's still doing well.
Did you use it as a young man?
Yes, I did. A lot.
When you were out of India?
Even in India. when I started off.
Who can recognize India? Yeah. Okay. Harsh, sorry, I was cutting you from telling us the entire beginning, which is important. So it's a travel set it up for us.
Okay, so let me just set it up for you. So we like calling ourselves a guidebook that talks back to you. The way we set it up is that we help people travel across India, and the way that we do that is a extremely transparent system. We get to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and then we retrofit a trip for you.
So it's custom made almost.
It is completely custom made.
You can't just say, we are Sharmas, we want to go to Darjeeling. That's it.
Correct. No.
You have to get to sort of know the customer.
Yeah, so we get to know someone first, and then we plan something in depth for them. And actually the way that we do it is we charge a fixed service fee first.
All right, Mr. Sonawala, that's your name. Gotta stay with the book. Yeah. But I think I honestly think that's the best thing. I find in India, and please correct me if I'm wrong, people never like to have the money conversation. You know, they always talk creative or whatever the issue is, like, yaar, sir, ye karo, wo karo, we'll do this. Or you look at a contractor, I'll fit this, I'll put that. The money comes at the absolute end when it's suddenly 5 crores.
Correct.
You know, the bill. So I think get that out of the way and people on a much better platform.
Yeah, which is what we realize is that in today's day and age, honestly, you can check the price of every hotel, price of every flight, price of every train.
No, but you're giving a custom-made thing, so it's a whole different deal.
Correct.
I'm not just going to a hotel. I'm presuming you're taking me through an entire event.
We are taking you through the entire plan, yes. But I'm saying that a lot of people like the do-it-yourself in travel, right? So in terms of pricing, what we've done is everything is transparent.
Right.
With the hotel, the flights, you have a breakup of each thing.
Right.
And at the bottom, we have our service fee is whatever. So we charge based on number of days that you travel with us and number of people that you travel with.
Right. So here's my question. I'm just while we record this, I'm about to go to London for a family holiday. Biggest problem we have is people have different choices and tastes and all that.
Correct.
Even a family of just 4.
Correct.
Because one kid wants to see Liverpool Football Club and the other kid wants to go to the entire Harry Potter experience, which is costing so much I can't tell you. I might as well write a book myself and try and sell it. So how do you handle people in bigger families? I'm just thinking the joint family, a group of say 10, 12, they'll have all kinds of demands.
Correct.
So take us through, how do you manage?
That does get a little tricky. But we try and have one point of contact. And it's always the mother.
Is it?
Always.
The mother is the matriarch?
Always.
The boss.
As in, all the trips that we have planned, which are family-oriented, it's never the guy.
What are you saying? I thought the father would play a very important role.
Never.
I thought I was the only father who was impotent and with no power and hanging around.
You're not the only one.
I'm not. It's not such a lonely planet after all. Yeah.
So it's always the mother, and then she always kind of like speaks to the people. So we try and speak to just one person and not 5.
Okay, Harsh, take us through the process, because I want to point out how you all are different from just going to a travel agent and booking 2 flights and a hotel room.
Correct.
So I would come with my family, and then what would be the steps?
So actually our first step is you fill out this fairly long questionnaire, which has a bunch of questions about where you want to travel to, your budget, your interests, your likes, and how many people you're traveling with. Then we actually have built a complete software in the back end where we go in and customize your trip. So we plan the whole trip for you out there, depending on the details that you're given. So we'll choose hotels based on your preferences. So if you're a backpacker, we'll obviously suggest hostels. If you're a comfort traveler, we recommend more boutique homestays.
Really spoiled, lazy, don't want to leave the hotel room, want room service, that kind of guy?
That kind of guy, we probably recommend the Uday Vilas or the Raj Vilas. Or
that's what I want to hear.
Where then you enjoy the hotel for what it is. But a large chunk of our audience is the homestay boutique hotel kind of range.
Which is the most growing, isn't it? Because not just Indians, but everywhere in the world, they seem to be turning to this boutique hotel formation.
Definitely, because it still has all the luxury that you would need. Plus it has a touch of good food, someone local actually giving you...
You can't get that local thing, otherwise there's no point, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you come to India, you go to Jaipur, you don't want to stay at the Rajvilas for 3 days continuously.
I do, but that aside, normal people would...
Maybe we cannot afford that.
Afford or not, but normal people would like a slice of Rajasthan, which would be...
Correct.
A boutique hotel.
Correct. A small boutique hotel or even like homestays.
Plus safety, Harsh. We can't put them anywhere. We can put them on a camel and say, stay here for 24 hours, but that won't work. We won't see them again, or the camel,
Yeah. So you
take the software, it sort of programs something out of all the stuff. You personally program.
We personally program it. We don't have a computer doing that stuff for you. We personally program it, and then we send you a link which has the entire breakup. Yeah. And then we go through on a Skype call or via email each of the hotels, each of the transports.
Wow.
Do you like that? Even we recommend activities And at the end of, if you book the trip with me, we give you like a big long tip document almost, which has our recommendations of where to eat, what to see, what not to see, everything.
So if I take a 7-day trip with you, every single minute is sort of accounted for?
No, so that's the good part, is that we don't tell you what to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, because, sorry to interrupt, but I always find when I see a Lala tours in the old days when we were growing up and all that, that it was too much after some time. And you can see the old people tiring. Yeah. And sometimes I wonder, the tour operators should think also about the fact that you can have maybe 5-6 hours of activity when you're on holiday, that is, and then maybe you need to have some time to yourself also, which didn't seem to balance out with the way they would just schedule, or is it the Indian thing? Schedule 25 sightseeing trips in one day.
No. So that's where we are also different again, is that we leave it completely independent to you. We'll give you 5 things that you can do in the day, and then if you want to chill in the hotel the whole day, you chill in the hotel the whole day, or you go do those 5 things. So we don't plan from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m.
I guess it depends on the personality, right? There are some people who just want to be out and look at things all day.
Correct.
And some people who want to balance or whatever.
Correct. And that's where we come in, where we say, okay, if you want to be out the whole day, we will give you a car and driver, you go out, you figure it out. But these are the 7 places that we say you should see. And these are the 2 places which you should definitely not see.
That's kind of mean. We've tried it before. Highly overrated. Mount Everest. Don't go there. Yeah.
No, but it's true, isn't there? Some places which, like in Jaipur, for example, there's a city palace. Don't go there.
And done to death also, isn't it?
Yeah, not. It's just terrible. There's nothing there to see. So don't do it. As in,
I've been to City Palace. It's not bad.
No, it's damn bad.
I have a problem with the pink city. I can't find the pink. They keep saying pink city. I just see a couple of streets where the tiles are pink. That's about it.
Yeah, it's not actually.
What is the pink city about? Why is it pink? What's the pink thing?
It is actually not pink. It is actually brown, and they kind of started calling it pink.
As is the whole country. Pink is a whole new movement. So why do they call it pink? Who brought up this pink thing?
I think it was there was some queen or someone like that coming, and they just wanted to make the
queen
thing
as in
look
someone a gay representative of the pink movement, or queen as in queen?
No,
Maharani?
Queen as in Maharani.
It's very confusing. Travel is so confusing these days. Yeah.
And to make it look good, they painted that part of the city pink.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, places like Rajasthan now overrun with foreigners. We do a few events there from time to time, and I noticed that are Indians still going to places like Rajasthan, or just?
They definitely are. So we do cater more to foreigners because foreigners appreciate our service more, unfortunately.
But that's the shape of things to come, because I think we are going in that direction. The foreigners, some of them are already there, and hence they use the service. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. So Indians definitely go. There's if you go in season like November, December, January, you'll find tons of Indians.
Yeah, because which Indian will go in May to Jaipur? Like you just mentioned off camera, off the show. What was it? 45 degrees?
Yeah, 47.
In the pink city, feeling pink very quickly all over. So let me give you a tough question. So here I want to go on a family holiday, but I want to go to a nude beach. Will you be able to handle it for me?
Me?
Oh, come on, you can't say no to the customer. The customer is king or queen.
We could probably send you to like some pygmy island in the Andamans. You know?
Is that where the cannibal tribe is? There's one.
Yeah, there's supposedly a cannibal tribe there.
So when you say buffets for them. Okay, no, jokes about coming back to the whole thing. So the process is that you customize it according to as you say, the mother seems to make the decisions. There's no actual meeting of the client. It's all done on email and Skype.
It's all done via email, Skype or phone.
Especially if they're coming from abroad, so obviously it's impossible for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's travel a little bit back in time and figure out how this all started. What is the background? What was Harsh Sonawala supposed to do? Family business?
No, not a family business, but I was working for a Canadian company called MediaGriff, which did B2B e-commerce platforms.
Sounds exciting.
No, very boring.
Perfect dinner time conversation with the first girl you've met.
And me and my business partner actually used to work together there. And we both loved traveling during that time.
This business partner you mentioned 8 times without a name.
Oh, his name is Abbas Slatewala.
Okay. Are there criminal cases against him? You're not trying to promote him at all?
No, they're not.
Okay. So, again, sorry to interrupt, but we're going back in time. Is Abbas from your college days?
No, so we worked together at...
when you were at your first job.
Yeah, so we worked there together, and we always wanted to do something and travel. So we always used to sit around and discuss, okay, let's do this. So once we actually took... 5 of my friends and 5 of his friends, and we planned a trip for them to Bhutan.
But as fun,
as a holiday thing. But we kind of planned it. We kind of saw if we could actually...
Okay, let me just go through this. 5 of his friends, 5 of your friends, so that's how many girls?
6.
I am going to definitely avail of your services. Because for the first time in the history of Indian mythology, there are more women than men in the group. I'm so happy. Sorry, Naveen. I'm so happy. So happy. That's exciting. Bhutan.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fantastic. It's an unbelievable country. A lot of cool things about it.
Peaceful karma about it, apparently people tell me.
Yeah, no, it's really beautiful. As in, I think that's the best way to describe it. Afforestation, happy people. I don't think you can ask for more, no?
Okay, but this is done only as an amateur thing, just because
it started off as an amateur
enjoy
thing.
organizing it.
Correct.
Whatever.
So it started off as an amateur thing.
You still have your jobs.
We still had our jobs. Then I went to do my MBA.
Oops.
Yeah, because I was confused in the Philippines, Asian Institute of Management.
Different leadership there, no?
Yeah, very.
This guy's a little dangerous. Durante?
Yeah, luckily he wasn't there when I was there.
He uses his own gun. I always worry when the leader of a nation carries his own gun and says he uses it, because that's a bit scary.
But a lot of people in the Philippines have guns. So
are you kidding me?
It's like America, no?
What are you saying?
Yeah.
It's like a violent...
No, it's not violent, but they have guns.
So on campus you had people with guns?
My friend had 6 guns in his house, yeah.
Why? He's doing an MBA. What was he thinking? I'm doing an MBA, people will kill me. No, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. But
he's not an engineer, it's just an MBA. Sorry.
He was an engineer first.
Then it makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's just, the Americans run them for like 40 years.
Yeah.
So I guess some of the...
You just want to blame Trump for everything. I'm okay with that. But so we'll take a quick break, then we'll come back and talk about the Philippines experience and get to how this birth happened and a change completely towards travel, which is now becoming a huge business. We're with Harsh, and he's got some gold stories when we come back.
Hi, I'm Ambika.
And I'm Hoshna.
Come journey with us around India as we chat about new and offbeat destinations, from secret islands to village stays, give you travel tips and advice, discuss all the yummy and weird food we've sampled, and induce some serious wanderlust.
So tune in to the Rediscovery Podcast.
New episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app you like.
Okay, back with Harsh. Harsh Sonawala, founder of India Someday with Abbas Slatewala. Sonawala, Slatewala. Foreigners will think we're all like this. Yeah. All right. So we've traveled to the Philippines now, where you're doing your MBA. This is typical Indian story again, where we sort of get over-educated. You do one thing, then you've got a proper degree, then you start a job, then suddenly you say, oh God, I got to do something else.
No, I guess the MBA was just a way for me to kind of figure out what to do next.
Okay.
I was confused, and I was like, if I'm not doing anything, then I might as well study.
Plus, I get the feeling the travel thing was also there, because the fact that you went to the Philippines to do it is almost because your heart isn't moving around the world.
It was.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked the Philippines also. A, it was cheap, and B, it was a cool place to go to. Yeah.
Undiscovered territory.
Yeah. So
did you have a good time, Harsh?
I had a great time.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just about the guns.
Yeah. No, it was a really sweet place to travel to.
Mm-hmm. So this is in Manila proper, or in one of the smaller cities?
No, Manila proper.
Yeah.
But traveled around a lot during that time. And also got to see a lot of Southeast Asia and Europe, because I did.
But it's a very different part of Southeast Asia from what we normally tread. You know, the Thailands and the Vietnams and the Hong Kong, Singapore.
It's untouched.
Yeah.
It's still, a lot of the beaches are untouched.
Spanish, the culture, the little bit of...
There's a little bit of Spanish culture. It's also just the people are the friendliest people that I have met.
Really?
Honestly, they're the friendliest people that I've met. Like, wherever you go, from a small village to a big city, everyone's smiling, and they'll actually sit down. And the good thing is they all speak English, so it's easy to communicate, even with a villager, and just sit down and have a cup of...
So to communicate with a villager, you have to leave India and their villages and go to the Philippines.
No.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's get back to the MBA program. So obviously now this was a little bit of life-changing experience for you, being in a different culture with different people. So tell us a little bit about what happened there.
So there actually, I kind of made up my mind that I want to do my own business. Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened there with the professors and just overall. A lot of people that I met there were running their own businesses already. So it kind of just
thinking out of the box now. No more conventional stuff.
Yeah. So
where was Abbas Slatewala by the way?
He was back in India, actually starting the basics of India Someday.
So he was already doing that?
He was already doing like 5 trips a year or 6 trips a year, just kind of helping people.
With this name? He had taken this name?
No, we had not taken the name yet.
Okay.
We were just...
So he was more like a tourist guide. He was more like Devanand in the picture guide, who was just walking up and down with a few guys, making a little paisa on the side.
Correct. So that's how...
But you guys were in touch?
We were in touch, yes. Then I finished my MBA. I obviously had lost all the savings that I had made, so I had to kind of get them back.
What's the girl's name that you spent all the money on? Now then, you can tell us everything. Are you married?
Yeah, I'm married.
Oh,
I'm
please
married.
tell us everything. Did you marry her?
No.
Of course not. Of course. Now you're spending all your savings on somebody else. Yeah.
Correct. So came back, took a job on the side. And then me and Abbas started India Someday.
You took another, normal job?
So there was a biogas company which wanted to set up in India. And yeah, it's funny.
Where to where? The funny part is from where to where your life has gone.
Yeah.
Who would think a biogas guy who was doing a B2B business before doing an MBA and now is actually in the travel business?
Correct.
It's just a big leap. Yeah.
Correct. The only consistent thing was like sales and marketing in all of them. That was the only consistent thing. So, so biogas company wanted to set up in India. So helped them set up. And then within the first 8 months, I left that company. And
How was Abbas doing at that point?
He was doing well, actually, because we had gotten around 30 trips with India Someday. And so he was also thinking that I need to quit my job and do this full time. Mm-hmm. And so he did do that before I did.
So no, one sec. Just before you actually jumped into it, was this travel? The new travel websites which started coming in the last 5-6 years. Was that also already on the cards? Was competition there already, or were you one of the first guys?
No. So there was tons. Make My Trip, Clear Trip. All of them had come in, but we knew that we are not competing with them. We wanted to do something niche and something not e-commerce. We wanted to do something that's more personal. And actually talk to people.
But how do you get the experience now to tell people what to do? Because you then have to travel as well.
Yeah, so from 18 to 26, 27, before I left for my MBA, I had traveled India a lot. Either with family or with family even before I was 18.
And by India, we mean more than, Delhi and Punjab and Rajasthan and, Kerala.
Correct. Yeah. So I had travelled a lot across Madhya Pradesh, a part of the northeast, Lahore, Spiti. Parts of Punjab, small towns
saying names so that I feel uncomfortable and know that you've gone to places no man has gone to before, but I respect that. Give me a few more.
And a couple of small villages in Punjab. So backpacked across a lot, and that's when I actually really fell in love with our own country, which unfortunately today very few people travel in India, and
honestly, I'll tell you, as a prospective client of yours, the biggest worry is infrastructure and things like that when we go outside the big cities.
Correct.
So the big problem is that if I was alone or backpacker, just me and the wife, it's different. Once you have kids, you want everything to be cushy. Correct. To some extent, because there's that fear factor always.
Fair enough, but there are tons of places now where the infrastructure is not half as bad as we think it is.
Yeah, but I'm saying once we go into interiors, because that's where the real India is. That's what you want to look at.
Correct, but if you actually even just take Rajasthan, which has been done to death. Mm-hmm. There are at least 15 to 16 smaller villages there which are easily accessible.
Jaipur, not Jodhpur, not Udaipur, not Ajmer.
No, there's small towns like Chandelao, Deoghar, which are just really small, quaint towns which have fantastic hotels, like Haveli is converted into a hotel.
And things to do for kids and stuff?
Absolutely. There's tons of stuff to do. You can either go on a desert safari, you can go horse riding, you can go swimming, obviously. There's
swimming in Rajasthan?
In a swimming pool.
Yeah, I'm all for the comforts, brother. Desert or not.
I'm trying to sell you the trip just now.
Look at Dubai. Dubai is a desert, but there's all the comforts of the world there.
Yeah,
Naveen. All right, so now let's fast forward a little bit. So you've come back. Abbas is starting the engine more than you at that point.
Correct.
You're doing another job, and then you suddenly say, okay, enough is enough. You have the confidence, and you'll start the business full on.
Correct.
When does this happen?
This happens roughly 6 years ago.
Okay.
Roughly
and do you
2011.
So then, do you remember your first big client, how it sort of kick-started?
Yeah, so there was a friend's friend from Holland. His name was Jasper, and he was...
Jasper?
Yeah, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but...
Oof.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid of Casper and Yas, please.
Yeah. And he was living in Kochi working, and his family was coming down from Holland. So there were 7 of them, and there was our first big client who we helped.
So they were just coming to Kerala, or they wanted to see India?
No, so Jasper was coming to Bombay and his family was coming to Bombay, and then they wanted to see India for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we helped them plan their trip for 3 weeks. But the difference was we met them in Bombay, we understood what they want in Bombay, and then over the next 3 days...
That was your blueprint actually. You actually interacted with them and realized it's custom service and got to figure out their personalities.
Correct. Does it work? Would they pay me a service fee? How much would they pay me?
They're French. They pay, they just don't bathe. Don't you know the rules? So how does it work with the Western client as against the Indian client? What are the main differences?
Probably the approach. With the Western clients, It's a lot via email, just back and forth. With the Indian client, it's obviously they pick up the phone, they dial your number and say, Harsh, I want this cheaper.
No, yeah, it goes without saying. No, but I'm thinking more like who's more adventurous? Like being away from India, do they say, come on, take us to a place where we can see elephants? And do they want to see the real India and go deep into the interiors and all that? Is that the way they think?
They do. Most of my Indian clients are
more conservative.
Yeah, the Indians are more conservative. They like their cushy comforts and...
Hathi ko dekha. Aur kuch?
So they are definitely more adventurous. You do have the ones which are extremely lazy and like the luxury, but
hey, come on, man! You're in a business. You got to look at everybody.
Which is
the fun for you also. The fact that they aren't the same.
Correct. So which is the good thing about us? Since we have the fixed service fee, we actually cater to people that are backpackers to extreme uber luxury. So we can do the full range. Mm-hmm. And that also means that I get to travel and stay at all of these cool backpacker hostels as well as uber luxury hotels. So it's fun.
So you actually go with the clients, or you just go to check them out?
We do recce's before. So we don't
go
with the client.
As you grow bigger and bigger, obviously you and Abbas won't actually be able to go.
Yeah, we're not traveling as much anymore. I'm also married now. So.
Yeah, and now you travel to Khar to do this podcast. That's bad enough living in Pedder Road. I can see your pain. Okay, now tell us, let's talk about a few interesting things. What are the 3 or 4 worst things about someone coming to you, about a client coming to you? What are the worst demands that you hear?
Oh, the demands that I hear. Oh, someone wants to do 4 states if India in 11 days. And they want to do like 15 cities because they think it's really easy to do. And you can get from Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Udaipur, Bombay, Aurangabad, Kerala, all in 11 days. And we're like, no, that's not possible. That's definitely...
But it's physically possible.
If you
just drive really fast and keep going.
Yeah, if you don't stop.
Yeah,
it is physically
but
possible.
in America, people do those kind of things. The East Coast to West Coast, where they're basically just taking the whole country in. Correct. So obviously you can't do justice to anything, but you sort of,
Correct, but out here you can't even drive that fast, no? As in,
because there's no petrol pumps on the way. So sir, yahan pe kuch nahi hai.
So that's definitely one of the weird things that people ask. People actually come and say it's too hot, and I'm like, you've come in May, and you wanted to visit Rajasthan. I told you it's hot.
But why would they want to go to Rajasthan in May? Don't you tell them that that's
we do tell them. That's the first thing that we tell them. But they're like, no, we only have time off now. So
what about places like Kashmir?
Kashmir is interesting. We have to be a little careful, obviously. Because we are liable at the end of the day. But we do recommend a lot of people to do Leh via Kashmir. So
they cross Srinagar and come to Leh.
Yeah, so you drive from Srinagar to Leh and we tell them to go to Gulmarg. Because Gulmarg, Pahalgam are actually not affected at all.
Yeah. The skiing is in full swing.
The skiing is in full swing. I think people there realize that tourists are important for their own bellies. So they don't kind of mess with them.
Nothing like commerce to bring peace to the world. I've been saying that from forever.
Correct. And I completely agree with you. And
Indian tourists also like to go to Kashmir, or this is more the foreign demand?
It's actually the Indian tourists are going more than the foreign tourists. Especially because we don't get to see snow, no? So it's a bit of a fun thing for us to go to. And then the drive from there to Leh is fantastic. It's easier to get to Srinagar than to Manali. So,
okay, this is a difficult question, but I'm just going to ask you anyway. What is like an average? How much will it cost on an average to say go on a 5-day or 7-day trip to one location like a Kerala or Rajasthan? I know it's a very difficult question. There's so many variables and how do you want to stay, etc. But just let's say we are a normal middle class family.
Correct.
For 5-7 days in a Kerala, Rajasthan, one of our hotbeds.
Correct.
What would you recommend as an average?
Probably, I would say an average hotel room would be say 4,000 rupees on average. Let's take that as an average. Now the new GST that comes out throws a lot of the thing in the spanner.
I can't wait for GST.
Not with
you're
hotels.
anti-GST.
Not with the hotel rates that they've thrown out.
What do you mean?
Tell me
now.
They've bumped up the hotel rates by close to 10%.
Are you kidding me?
And in some places even 19%. So it's not.
But why should they bump up the hotel rate?
Because they've classified 5,000 rupees and up as luxury.
Oh, I got to talk to Narendra Modi. Just give me the phone. That's ridiculous.
It is.
I thought it would be a lot easier for all of us to travel once the GST comes. Because it's one sort of freaking tax.
It is one tax. It's
I
just
thought it would come down.
It hasn't. Unless you stay in a hostel.
You're breaking my heart, brother.
It's breaking my heart as well. It's my business.
But shouldn't you all write to the government and say that
they have.
Figure this out?
There's this whole lobbying.
That's a huge amount of people traveling all across the year now.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little more expensive.
And $5,000 for the big cities is like nothing.
Correct.
You won't get a YMCA now.
Correct.
And I've stated YMCAs. I mean, our producer is looking at me in a strange way. Don't worry, it's been a hard uphill struggle. Yeah.
So, coming back, you look at, say, roughly 4,000 rupees and maybe a travel budget and food budget of another 5,000 rupees a day if you're going to take a flight. So, over a week, you're looking at roughly around 60,000-70,000 rupees.
For family of four?
For a family of two.
So one room.
For a couple, yeah, for a room. Yeah.
One room. So we can squeeze three, we're Indian.
Yeah. Yeah.
हो जाएगा. Compromise करेगा हम लोग.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
That's a rough average price that you can look at.
Let's not talk about growth. Unfortunately, GST has put a span in the works. Suddenly, I didn't realize that. But what happens next for you guys? You're now established. You've been there for 6 years. People know about you. You've got clients. What's next?
We're actually...
Do you take on the foreign market as well?
That's what we're looking at. We're looking at growing into Asia this year and helping people travel to Asia the same way that we do for India. Mm-hmm. So I just spent around 20 days in Cambodia. And
do they have GST?
No, they don't.
Thank God, I can afford a hotel there.
Yeah, and it's really cheap actually. And so we're looking at moving out of India a bit. We hadn't done a lot of marketing so far for India Someday. So we're looking at now actually pushing through with some marketing initiatives for India Someday.
You can't call it India Someday if you're going to Cambodia. Although you can, because under Ashok, the Great, it was part of India. So I get your point.
Correct.
But only you and I know that. It's really, with GST at the back on my neck, I'm a little worried about that. But as you expand, you'll have to change the name? Or there'll be a second affiliate?
We'll probably call it Asia Someday. Or Travel Someday.
You sound like Alexander. India Someday. Asia Someday. The world someday!
That's the plan.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Harsh, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. Wish you all the best. Just a couple of personal questions as we wind up. How do you relax? Because your business means a lot of traveling away from home, I'm presuming.
Well, traveling is kind of relaxation for me. So.
But does the wife come?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Took his time over that one. Yeah.
She's a doctor herself. So
she's a doctor. Okay.
Yeah. So she does try and come whenever she can. Mm-hmm. But...
And what is Harsh's favorite place to travel? That's again a mean question, but let's say top 2-3.
In India, it's definitely the hills. It's Lahore and Spiti.
I'll Google. Everybody Google.
It's Northeast Himachal.
Northeast Himachal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's definitely one of my favorite places in India. Maybe the Andaman Islands.
You go on second. Going back to the Andamans, but difficult place to reach. No, you have to go by plane and then boat.
Now there's a direct flight from Bombay.
Straight into
Port Blair. Yes.
Okay.
And definitely the Philippines for me. As in, from an international, I have a special connect
with
that
place. But that's also because of the emotional connect with it for the thing and all.
Definitely.
What about the rest of the Western world? Not so interesting?
Interesting. For me, I still prefer something which has a little more earthiness to it, I guess. The Western world kind of can get a little
Have you been
similar.
to the United States of the Soviet Union? It's lovely. All right, that's Harsh. It's called India Someday. If you want customized service, you want to get the best service you can get to understand what your needs are for a holiday, go to Harsh Sonawala, go to India Someday, and he'll help you at a very good discount. Just take my name. It's okay, Harsh. You don't have to.
What's the best new restaurant in town?
Which bar sucked?
What's the worst new Hindi film?
What's the most obscure thing to do on the weekend?
And what's the most interesting new walking tour?
If you want to know how to make the most of Bombay, listen to the Podcast by thedailypow.com. We are Pranati,
Amit,
and Purva.
We're your guide to what to do, see, and eat in the city. You can find new episodes of the Podcast every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer, and on thedailypow.com.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Okay, that was Harsh Sonawala, one of my favorite human beings on this earth. I only know 4, so he's in the top 4. But now it's time for the AMAs. We have Nikhil, who is feeling cold in the studio, and you become my enemy immediately. We are fools now. We're India, Pakistan. We can't be friends. Look what you've done. You're a person who feels cold. and you're shockingly showing off by holding that terrible hands together position like phantom.
What 2 degrees Celsius in here?
2 degrees. I want you to put your hand inside my shirt and touch my armpit. There is a full Powai lake out there. We give water to the lake. It goes straight from my armpit. And Amit, you're with us too. Hello, and thank God you are sweating like me.
I am as hot as you are right now.
How can 3 people be so different? 2 of us are sweating and feeling hot.
Because it is hot.
And Nikhil is holding himself like he's about to die. In fact, he reminds me of, who was that actor in Titanic who falls off? Jack, whatever. Leonardo. Yeah, I've just been informed by Mumbai Google. It is Leonardo DiCaprio. And we welcome another guest into the studio, but we won't let him speak because he's late. And we, who ran Germany so efficiently, when we don't believe in people who are late, we send them straight to other countries.
Yes, we do.
Sorry, after this long opening, I think we don't have time for the emails, so thank you for coming and bye-bye.
No, let's get a couple. We actually have people asking us questions now, so we should get them.
Yes.
In, right?
And it's not the same one guy that
it used to be. It's not Briefless Lawyer, or it's not who's the other?
Repeat clients.
Mahim Gautam. Yeah, these are some different guys. So, hey, and we're glad to keep getting this. Please keep sending them. The first question is from Dutt Pandit. What do you think about North Korea's aggressive nuclear program?
Well, may I speak as a political pundit myself?
Please.
I'm very impressed with his haircut. Okay, because how can a man who's so distantly related to other human beings, I don't think there's a DNA comparison that will match very easily. And I know the chimpanzee is 99.97% or something like that. But Kim Jong-un for me is about 94 or something, somewhere in that area. And I find him like a child, like a 6-year-old, which is a lot of leaders of the world today. We're run by a lot of kids. The orange-haired fellow is about 9 if you see the spelling on the tweets, and there's a chap in Russia who I won't get into. If you say anything bad to him, he's like that big bully who'll slap your mother and father.
Then you got the Turkey dude.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Let's stop here. Let's stop on this point and go back to Kim Jong-un. So, do you know how many failed tests they've had? Here's the funny thing: they keep doing tests, but 1 out of 2 just don't work, and they don't even tell us about it. We find out about it later that they pressed the button, the missile went up for 2 seconds, and then 4 generals were shot for that who weren't even involved, won't even country at the time.
Life expectancy as an army officer in North Korea's army has got to be pretty low, man.
I think it must be the most fear anyone can feel in that part of the world, because if anything goes wrong and you're the second in command him, he just goes after you immediately, blames you. If the fan doesn't come on in his suite, he shoots the general's wife, which a general doesn't mind, but then he's next. So please go ahead.
Let's move on from defense to cricket. I think this is the question you would like to answer from
Gaurav. You have no interest in North Korea? The other day I was discussing with guys in a cricket show about how the game has actually been shrinking and not growing. About 10 years back, the mandate from ICC was, let's grow, and we'll have a World Cup where China play Taiwan. That's my joke. China play Taiwan in the 2042 World Cup, and Indians are cheering in the front row, but that's not going to happen because it's not growing, it's shrinking actually. The associate countries haven't come to the party barring Afghanistan. You look at Kenya and even Ireland and Scotland, not really grown that much. Bermuda, what happened to them? The smaller West Indies islands, West Indies themselves have imploded. So
I'm actually really surprised though. I thought T20 would really help with that kind of popularity.
So that's the idea. The T20 will be pushed more and more, and maybe at some point there'll be growth. But it looks like we're stuck with 6 or 7 quality countries.
That's
about it.
But you think does this help, having Champions Trophy in UK, especially when it is raining continuously, points are being shared?
But which month is left? Where will you go? You can't go to Australia right now, it's winter. You can't go to South Africa right now, it's winter. You can't go to India right now because people like you feel cold, but the rest of us are dying. We're actually dying, Nikhil, while you're feeling this freezing temperature. You're not knob apparently, because I've seen him also do the same thing. But so which countries left? New Zealand you can't go to right now. So there's not much options. Pakistan you can't go to. We will keep you informed about that in a later development. So I think England, June was the only period, the ICC window that they had. September it's clogged with programs. Plus they have their own season. They have South Africa, they have matches to be played. And
Champions Trophy like one of the more important things? Shouldn't that be a priority?
Are you liking the format of it? Like only 2 matches and you're into semis, one match.
I have no patience for a 50-over match at all anymore. I sat for that. I tried to do the match.
No, I understand, but I don't care because my father taught me very early that what is populist is crap mostly.
Right.
So if people don't like cricket, it's better for us who do. So I'm not interested in that. When people say too long, and I'm saying good. They don't know they're Jack Hobbs from their Calvin and Hobbes. So I don't give a damn. But coming back to the 50-over format, my only worry is balance in sport as in life. If you don't have balance, nothing is fun. So if the bowler's not going to get any swing in English conditions, which is very odd. As the last few seasons, these things have started happening. June is supposed to be a good month for bowling. There's supposed to be good weather conditions. There has been rain around, it's damp and everything else. But there's just no swing. So what happens is, if you notice, there's no bowler running to the lineup except Stark running to the back end of the Bangladeshis with his Yorkers. That's it. So that's the disappointment for me. But from a quality point of view, I'm very happy with this 8-team format. And I'm very happy with 50 overs. And I'm very happy with England. That's the country where you should watch cricket and play cricket. People are civilized and decent. You can sit without sweaty people around you. And the weather is generally good. And yes, the weather goes up and down. But that's all part of the charm of cricket. Let me just remind everybody out there. In India, cricket is a winter game. That's what it's supposed to be. Our season starts in October and ends in February. But we've gone berserk, mentally crazy. And people have decided to play in May and June, which is madness. Watch an IPL game on the 25th of May, in the night with the lights. You come back 5 kilos lighter. Who wants that? We're a country of skinny people. We're ectomorphic. Look around. We're just skinny people with paunches. Stop it. Stop it. It should be played in England in the English summer. And only in England. If I had my way, I'd stop all the other countries playing. Next question.
Okay, moving on. Srinath is asking, what phone do you use? I don't think so. What phone do you use as a daily driver?
Well, whatever fits between my legs, because that's where I keep it normally. Because in these long traffic jams, you have nothing else to do, so you have to play with your phone.
You don't believe in that
Uber
thing they kept.
But my job is not yet an Uber driver. The podcast, if it just doesn't grow, then yes, that is the next option. But who would hire me? Because I've got so much opinions, they'll run out of the bloody Uber in 5 minutes. Which reminds me, there are lots of taxi drivers up north and in Cal who I've encountered, which are great fun. We should record those guys.
Yeah.
Their podcast will be great.
Yeah, we should do that.
They're real philosophers.
Cool. All right, so that's all we got for this episode.
Yes.
Listen, if you want to catch up with Nikhil, you can find him on the TFG podcast on the IVM network.
But get a sweater because he's feeling, 44 degrees and the man is holding himself. And when I say himself, I mean his upper body.
Yep. And that's all we got then.
All right. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. If you have any questions, write to us online and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called May.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.